All right, we're live. So, welcome to the first episode of MMA Fight Picks. I am Ant, and
I'm
this is
Jay.
my man Jay. First episode, we're going to break down UFC Austin, full card breakdown. I'll give you some of our thoughts on bets, fighters. It's a pretty interesting card, some bangers, 14 fights. So, we'll jump right in. First fight of the night so far, it looks like it's going to be Phil Hawes, Deron Win. Measurables wise, Hawes is going to be vastly superior everywhere. Height, reach, just even physically, his body looks way better. You can just see in these pictures, he looks kind of chunky. Hawes is nowhere near chunky at all. Trains at Sanford MMA, so a good gym. Deron Wynn's also at AKA, so that's another good gym. Heavy wrestling. So we know that Deron Wynn's going to come with a wrestling game plan. Phil Hawes is a relatively good wrestler. I think that's pretty much his background was wrestling, and now he's really been working with Henry Hooft and just gotten real good with striking. He was looking really good in the Chris Curtis fight before he got caught. Kyle Dawkins fight was an impressive win. He got a little tired, but he won. Impressive. Beating Imavov, that's another impressive win, even though majority decision. So. Malkoon, quick, easy, slept him. First UFC fight. And then Contender Series, big win. So he's been on a big run. He's been getting better. Win. It's not very good, undersized. I'm gonna go Phil Hawes. I think Phil Hawes knocks him out, so I'll probably get a Phil Hawes KO and Phil Hawes inside the distance bet somewhere around there. What do you think?
Yeah, there's really not much. This is an interesting matchup to begin with. Deron Wynn, I'm really not that high on. He's going to lay on you if he's really going to do anything. And we've noticed in the past, month or so that control time isn't really as effective in the judges' criteria than it once was. Hawes has got 100% takedown defense, I'm pretty sure, in the UFC, which is pretty impressive. I'm going to have to double down with you on Phil Hawes inside the distance. He could win a decision. Deron Wynn's pretty tough. I think he's only been finished with a rear naked choke before. Maybe that could happen, late. If there's a finish, I think it would probably happen. I could see a finish happening for sure. I might not bet on this, but I would probably lean towards inside the distance. Pause.
Yeah, I would agree. I think if you want to be safe, you could just kind of go, fight doesn't go the distance. Right now, minus 140, over under 2.5. That's what the line's set at. Under 2.5 is minus 118. So it's really not that bad. Minus 118. To get that. So I honestly might get that. At under 2.5 at minus 118 is really not that bad. Hawes should get him out of there the first 2 rounds.
He's 5'6" and he's 185. Also, one thing to notice, he struggles with weight sometimes. So if he's not on a good diet already, then he might be roughing the scales, and that might be something you want to watch out for.
Yeah, I know. I would agree. He has already missed what? This fight's been scheduled twice now. Shh. Be quiet. My cat is annoying.
Phil Hawes, 2 canceled bouts in 2021.
Yeah, 2 canceled bouts, right?
Yep. And then rescheduling for a 3rd time now. They really want this fight to go down.
Yeah, I think basically the UFC is like, look, Deron, you're not getting out of this fight. Either fight him or get cut, bud. I don't know what to tell you. All right, next fight. We'll move on. Kyle Dawkins, Roman Dolidze. This is an interesting matchup. 2 grapplers, or 2 guys who like to grapple a lot. Dolidze is a grappler. I'm pretty sure he's like a world champ BJJ grappler. So we know he's got the goods there. Probably is better than Kyle Dawkins. just from a grappling standpoint, but not necessarily fully mixed martial arts. Measurables wise, they're pretty much the same. I mean, 6'3", 6'2", 76-inch reach. They're going to match up very well together. It's going to be very good. It's going to be good. They should match up well. I think Kyle Dawkins will have the advantage on the feet, and I think that's where the fight's going to be the difference, and that's where it's probably going to be won, is if it's going to be 50-50 in the clinch and control on the ground. I think the striking exchanges will be Kyle Dawkins. So I'm going to lean Dawkins here, but this says minus 225. What do you think about this fight?
Another interesting fight. They match up like virtually identically, their height and reach. I'd give it. I mean, the age advantage goes to Kyle. I'm going to lean Kyle. I think he's honestly looked better each time I've seen him out since his loss to Phil Haas. And I'm going to kind of lean on that and being a younger fighter. And he's always had good, crisp boxing. And I think he's really coming into his own on the ground. So I'm going to take him over Roman. I think it more than likely goes to decision. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle got a submission, later in the fight.
Yeah, I just have only reason why I have a hard time thinking that'll happen is just because Dulce is so well versed in that field that a submission would seem a little bit difficult. But Kyle Dawkins has hands, I think. You watch him in the Phil Haas fight, you can see he has shows that he has decent hands. The Dustin Stolfitz fight, he shows in this fight. I don't know what it is, but he literally is whooping Stolfitz on the feet and just keeps trying to grapple. Like he'll hurt him and then just tries to grapple, hurt him and tries to grapple. So he falls in love with his grappling a little too much. I think he needs to trust his hands a little bit more.
I agree with that for sure.
And I think if he does trust his hands, I think he potentially could knock out Dulce. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to probably win a decision. I think probably getting a decision bet on him is the safe way to go. Because the money line, I mean, he's like almost minus 250 on a lot of books I'm looking at right now. And minus 250 for a guy that is going to be completely 50-50, I think, in the grappling and ground exchanges. And we have to see if he's going to win in the striking. So,
one thing I wanted to add was that I do think Roman has the higher chance of gassing later in the fight. That's kind of why I said maybe a sub late in the fight. But
that's fair.
Overall, I think more times than not, this is going to decision.
Yeah, I mean the over 2.5 is set at minus 150, so books are favoring that to be the case. But Kyle Dawkins does. His last one was a finish. He was about to choke out Kevin Holland. That was a headbutt, though. Kevin Holland had like a flash KO that wasn't really count. He looked like he was going to body him, though, because Holland can't really handle the wrestling, especially at 185. The Haas, he lost that one. So, I mean, he has some finishes on his record. They call him the Darce Knight for a reason. I don't know if he's going to get a Darce on, you'd say, but...
I'm going to add one more thing, is all four of Roman's fights are against guys that are pretty much not in the UFC anymore. I don't know if John Allen is. I know Cadiz and Brahimov went 0-4 and no longer is. He won a split with John Allen, who I think lost to somebody in the past 6 to 8 months. He didn't look that great. Trevin Giles, he lost a unanimous decision to. We all know. Trevin Giles, a top-tier fighter. He fights at 170 now. And then his last one is against Loriano Strepoli, who's also not in the UFC. So.
And one thing I'll say I noticed a lot with Dulce is he gets in the clinch, he gets you in the cage, but he doesn't take people down. His takedowns are subpar. With Staropoli, he took him forever to take him down. Once he got him down, he was able to hold him down, but it took forever. Kyle Dawkins is better than Staropoli. He's significantly better. Not only that, Trevin Giles took him down I think if Trevin Giles can take him down, Kaldakis can take him down eventually. And then just looking at his past couple, Roman deletes say his past couple fights after the Star Poli, or fights he was supposed to have, I should say. He has a canceled bout with Eric Anders, a canceled bout with Kyle Dawkins, a canceled bout with Brendan Allen, and then now he's fighting Kyle Dawkins. So I don't know why he's had so many canceled fights, but he hasn't fought in a year. So yeah, enough with this fight. We're both leaning Kyle Dawkins. I'm leaning decision, but Kyle Dawkins is probably, I would say, a pretty safe parlay piece if you like parlays and you want to get down with that. Next fight, we will move on to Cody Stamann against Eddie Wineland. This is kind of like a old vet versus young vet. Stamann's 32, but I mean he's had a lot of UFC experience against pretty tough fighters. You look at his record, just past 5 fighters: Yadong Song, Brian Kelleher, Jimmy Rivera, Marab Devilishi, and Syed Nurmagomedov. So I mean, that's a tough five fight group right there. And then you got Eddie Wineland, 37. I mean, knocked out. He won KO, lost the decision. I don't know. I feel like Stamann should win. He's smaller. He's going to have a shorter reach. But I feel like he should win. He should have the better grappling. People say that at least. I mean, I haven't really seen it. I watch his fights and his grappling is okay. Eddie Wineland has like a UFC stats say like 86% takedown defense. I've heard 93% takedown defense. So it's high. I don't know if he'll take him down, but Stamann is good enough on the feet. I know he's been boxing since he was like 15, 16 years old. Eddie Wineland has been getting knocked out. I think that's probably the way. Maybe this fight doesn't go the distance is the way to look at this, target this.
That's plus money right now.
It is plus money. It's going to be big plus money because I don't think Stamann has a finish.
It's plus 122.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's not bad. I mean, Stamann doesn't have a finish in the UFC.
Under 2.5 is plus 130.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, I am just Eddie Wineland's looks so washed to me. Like just him standing out there in general has looked washed before I even saw him fight. And Cody Stamann's had a rough past year or 2, 3 years maybe. I'm gonna lead Stamann. I feel like he should win inside the distance, and if he doesn't, that's kind of not the best look. But yeah, I'm gonna lead him inside the distance. I think he's gonna be able to take him down at some point and just ground and pound him, or maybe get a rear naked choke. Eddie Wineland, it looks like he trains at his own gym called Duneland. I don't know. I wouldn't put a bet on him, but I'm probably gonna avoid this fight altogether.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but I don't know. To me, there's a lot of big underdogs on this card. I'm pretty sure he is the largest.
He is the largest
underdog on the card. I don't know. I feel like
he's at plus 370.
Sure, he has gotten knocked out the past 2 times. Is his chin compromised? Possibly, but we have to look at who he got knocked out by. John Castaneda. He's a little dog. Like, I don't care. Like, that man's nice. He upset I forgot who he fought last time, but he upset his last Miles John. Yeah, Miles Johns. He won that too. And then he gets slept by Sean O'Malley. Like, Sean O'Malley is knocking everybody out lately. Then he has a KO win, and then he has a loss against Alejandro Perez, who is a good fighter. So is what it is. And that was 3 years, 10 months ago. I mean, not saying that he's going to come out here and win, not saying he's not going to get knocked out. I just think the people he's getting knocked out by are quality fighters. It's not like he's getting knocked out by some scrubs.
Yeah.
And Stamen, I'm going to just peep his record real fast. I mean, you look at his wins, he has wins by knockout. He has like 3 wins by knockout, and his last one is 2017
for the UFC.
So
he has a win over Alejandro Perez.
Yeah, he does. I actually watched that fight. It was a quality fight. Alejandro Perez is actually fought some good people.
Well, the one thing also I want to add is I think the last time Cody Stamen fought, he had that guillotine choke or whatever by Saeed Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
It was in California, so you got to see what he weighed in at the night of the fight. Man gained like 28 pounds in like a day and a half.
Yeah, he got really big. He's a big dude.
He's as big of a bantamweight as you'll find out there. Just really muscular, but for some reason he doesn't have knockout power. But he might
he doesn't.
On Saturday against Eddie Weidman.
Yeah,
as gone as it looked in the last fight.
Let's take a peek. Stamen by KO plus 235. Stamen inside the distance plus 175. That's not bad.
That is not bad.
I'm not sure I'll do it, but it's not bad.
I mean, his last 3 fights are to Jimmy Rivera, Merab, and Saeed, like 3 studs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like his last 5 fights have been against absolute studs. Yeah. All right, so we'll go on to the next fight. We're on the first favorites, first 3 fights. I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
4th fight, we got Danny Chavez against Ricardo Ramos. This fight is, I don't know, it's a little interesting to me.
I think it's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a contender for fight in the night. I think this is also potential upset fight right here. Danny Chavez, he's just a dog, like the Colombian warrior they call him. He's just a dog. Like every single fight you see him in, he's always coming forward. He's kind of weird though because he comes forward but doesn't throw a ton of volume. So like he's pressure, but like not super active with the strikes. So it's a little different. I'm not sure how this will go. I think that Ramos will have the grappling advantage for sure. I think he'll have the BJJ advantage, but I'm pretty sure Chavez is also BJJ black belt or purple belt, somewhere in that realm. He's a quality grappler too, but it's just for defensive purposes. He's not like throwing up triangles or going for arm bars or anything. I mean, I kind of have to side with Ramos. I feel like Ramos, just the size, his height, he's taller, way longer reach. I think that would be a big difference right there. So I'm going to side with Ramos, but I think Chavez is definitely a live dog. And I think if he could just pressure Ramos, it could be tough for him. He has a couple losses. He has some good wins as well. He's only 26, so he's still young. He's just kind of surprising. I feel like he's had a lot of big fights in the UFC already, and he's only 26 years old. He's 15-4. I'll go Ramos, but I can't talk you out of Chavez either.
Yeah, so this is the type of fight I want to avoid altogether betting-wise, just because I know that if Ramos – I think Ramos should win, but it's going to be sketch the whole time. You're going to be like, oh, dude, he just got clocked. Oh, God, no, don't hit him again. Like, defend, put your hands up, like, pull him down. It's going to be a nervous fight, but I think Ramos should win, you know. Chavez beat Kakamaka. I think he got a illegal poke in the eye or nut shot, and he was dominating him. He's only lost to really TJ Brown in the UFC. Other two losses were in 2016. He's a tough motherfucker. So I don't want to bet on this fight.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
My lane would be Ricardo Ramos, just because I think he's the better, more rounded fighter. But Chavez will be stronger. And he's also a much younger fighter too. But Chavez should have the strength advantage for sure.
Yeah, he has that 8 year age gap, which is pretty fast.
Yeah.
9-inch age gap and a 5-inch reach gap. So pretty big physical differences right there. All right, moving on to the next fight. I think these next couple fights is when it's going to get a little more juicy. I think it's going to be maybe not so many of the favorites getting chosen. So we have Gloria De Paula against Maria Oliveira. Gloria De Paula is...
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. I love you too. Have a good night. Gloria De Paula is 27 years old. She's going to be 2 years older. She's going to have a 2-inch or 1.5-inch reach disadvantage. I don't really know. I feel like this is kind of dog or pass for me. Gloria De Paula has quality striking. I think she has real good, like crisp, like just straight punches, decent kicks. Not much of a takedown game, so she's really I think she's a kickboxer for the most part. Maria Oliveira, I watched a couple of her fights before she got to the UFC. I watched the Duarte fight, and I watched her the Marina Rodriguez fight. And I mean, that was almost 4 years ago. This fight was 2.5 years ago. So not much you can really take from it, but she held her own against Rodriguez on the feet until she got slept. But she held her own for a little bit. And then the Duarte fight, this girl was 0-1. She literally just took her down and just kind of laid on top of her. And so, I mean, if she can implement that kind of game plan, I think she could win. But if you look at the people she's fought, 9-2, she lost. 9-0, she loses. 0-1, she wins. 0-0, she loses. And then 5-1, she lost. So it looks like she loses against people who have winning records. I just don't think Gloria De Paula is very good. And I think if it stays on the feet, I mean, she has the reach advantage. She's definitely longer. And De Paula's not very physically strong. And I saw Maria Oliveira granted, this girl is a nobody. She was 0-1. I don't know if she has any more fights ever since then. She's 0-2. So clearly, like, she lost 2 times. I was like, yeah, this is not for me. But she was able to take her down. She held her down. So I don't know. I guess it's Gloria De Paula, but if I was going to bet it, I would just bet the dog and hope maybe by decision. I don't think she's going to get knocked out, but I don't know. It's gross. I don't really like it. I mean, last thing I'll say is De Paula does work at or train at Shoot Bucks Diego Lima, which I'm pretty sure. I was going to say Charles Oliveira, Alan Nascimento, all those boys. That's where they fight out of. So
yeah,
she's training with some dogs.
Yeah, I think you hit it pretty spot on. I think that they're both pretty low level right now. Gloria De Paula looks like she's more technical. But with that being said, minus 265 in this fight. I've seen them both fight, middle of the road, end of the roster, strawweights in the UFC, and I'm just not really impressed. So yeah, I'm avoiding this completely. I might throw the fight goes the distance in a parlay, like over 2.5. But with that being said, I'm probably gonna avoid it most of the midline part. I'm not picking a fighter really to win here.
Yeah,
But
I feel
but
that.
Gloria DePaula would be the side I'd lean.
Yeah. Yeah, money line wise, it's gross. I mean, minus 260 should be closer to like minus 150, minus 170. So that's the
Yeah,
reason why I think that if you're going to bet on it, Oliveira's the side. But again, DePaula probably is the better fighter. So far, I don't know if you guys noticed, the only parlay piece I've even recommended was Kyle Dawkins. Granted, a lot of these guys are big favorites. Kyle Dawkins is the only one that I'm like, he should go out here and for sure win. Cody Stamen could, and most likely will, but I don't know. Something about he's so little. Like I just can't bet on him like that. Like I just can't do it. I don't know what it is. It's just something in me just won't allow it. And I bet on him against Said Nurmagomedov, and that was just so dumb. I don't know why I did something so like
I did
that's
the same.
like I just so stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the next fight. Excuse me. We have another female mixed martial arts bout at the flyweight division this time. Jasmine Jazdavicius against Natalia Silva. Jasmine Jazdavicius is going to be much taller. She's going to be much longer. She's going to be older. She actually has less fight experience, so that is a bit interesting. She has some pretty, I wouldn't say decent wins, but I mean, she has a loss over Elise Reed, I'm sorry, and then a win over Kay Hansen. Kay Hansen's since been cut, so that's, and then I'm pretty sure she was a big underdog in that fight. So, I mean, she came through. She cashed some tickets for people. Good for her. Good for y'all who bet on her. Julia Pilastri. I watched this fight. It was just like a kind of wrestling, striking. It was just, a good old women's MMA fight. Natalia Silva, I watched two of her fights. I watched an armbar. I don't remember who it was against. She has like a bajillion. She was armbar, arm lock, armbar, armbar. I watched her fight Marina Rodriguez. She held her own. She didn't get knocked out. She went all 3 rounds of Marina. She tagged Marina up a decent amount of times. She looked, I wouldn't say good, but she didn't look bad. That was 4 or 5 years ago, 2017. So 5 years ago, she was 20 years old. She hasn't fought in 2.5 years almost. So I would expect to see some improvements from the age 23 to 25. Just however, I'm not really sure she'll have enough for Jasmine Jazdavicius. She's just so small. She's only 5'4". Her reach isn't going to be there. I think her only chance is maybe if she could snatch up like some kind of submission on the ground. I don't think she's going to be able to win the fight on the feet. I'm going to lean Jasmine Jazdavicius, but if I was going to do this fight, I'd probably do Jasmine Jazdavicius by decision. Natalia Silva, maybe by a sub or inside the distance, something like that. So I don't think she'll win minutes. I think she'll just have like a big moment, maybe snatch something up. But that's really it. What do you think?
So I actually have a play on this. I have a 1 unit bet on Natalia Silva. I just think that if there's recency bias with Jasmine Jazdavicius, she beat Kay Hansen, who's up a weight class, who's already small to begin with. She's 5'2", so she's fighting a girl that's probably as big as you're gonna get for the 125 division outside of what's her name, Chukagian. But I think that she just kind of was able to like lay on her and like outmuscle her the first 2 rounds, and then in the 3rd round, Kay was piecing her up on the feet, which is kind of hard to do. Like kind of hard to be pieced up on the feet by Kay Hansen. So I'm gonna take Natalia Silva. I get it's a 2-year layoff. I just think the line's way too wide. I've got a unit on her, so that's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue against it. It's not something that I don't know if I'll bet her, but I mean, what's her line at the moment? I'm gonna peep what I see her at right
She's at
now.
plus 200. I just got her at plus 200.
Yeah, plus 200. I mean, I'm not mad at it at all. Jasmine Jasudavicius is minus 140 points. So that's kind of, I don't really.
Honestly, I think she gasses towards the end too, and I think it'll be a close fight, and especially if this woman doesn't get finished easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be. I think it'll be a good fight. I'm tempted to bet Natalia Silva wins inside the distance plus 500.
Yeah, you can get the sub for 575. I might sprinkle like a little something on that.
Yeah, because I think it's possible that she can get a sub or maybe a ground and pound. She just doesn't have ground and pound in her thing, but I mean, she's taken 2.5 years off at the age of 23. She's 25 now. It's women's MMA. It's worth a dog shot. Might just be better just taking the money line and taking that plus 200. And if it goes to decision, she might win a decision. You never know.
Also, Jasmine's only losses to Elise Reed, and that was a split. So I think she hasn't fought in that high of competition either. I think Maria probably is, or no, Natalia. Sorry, all these Brazilian women throwing me off. I think Natalia's had just as good, if not better.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I don't agree. I don't disagree with you. I think it's going to be close. If it's going to be close, why not have the dog? And especially if it goes to split or something like that, then you definitely made the right choice at plus 200. So move on to that next fight. We have Jeremiah Wells against Court McGee. Measurables, they're both have a 75-inch reach. Height, Court McGee is going to be taller. He's 2 years older. He is currently the betting favorite or underdog. I'm not sure. Court McGee is currently the betting favorite. He was the underdog, and money has come on him big time, if I'm not mistaken. That has flipped the line pretty big. I'm not sure what that means. Books tend to open lines up at a certain price for a reason, but they see money coming in, so they say, okay, let's flip. Then I'm sure they're going to get money pouring in on Wells, so no matter what, it's going to be a win-win for them. Anywho, what do you think about this fight? I'll give my thoughts after.
Yeah, it's a great fight to begin with. I think Court McGee should win. He's been looking in great shape. He's one of the best grapplers. He's underrated at grappling in that division. I think he should win. I might play him. It's kind of hard. I don't really want to drop minus money on him just because I already missed the line. You know what I mean? Like you said, he opened up it was flipped to begin. So this guy Wells is explosive and dangerous, and he could surprise me, and I wouldn't be shocked if he finished Court McGee. He rarely ever gets finished. That's how explosive and talented I think he is. Also, guys from that gym, the Renzo Gracie in Philly, they haven't lost in the UFC yet. Is he gonna be the first guy who loses? I don't know, but I still like Court McGee overall to win the fight.
Yeah, I hear you. I have a bet on this. I have a bet on Jeremiah Wells money line. I got him at plus 105, I want to say. I just put a unit on him at 105. I don't know. I think that a couple things, it's 2, 3, 4-fold for me. To start, just looking at Court McGee's record, just his last, 7, 8 fights. I mean, he's very win-loss, 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 loss, win, 2 losses, win, 3 losses, 2 wins. Granted, his losses are against quality opponents. Ponzinibbio before he was hurt back in 2016, Sean Strickland, Ben Saunders, DeLima, Sean Brady, Carlos Condit. He did beat Claudio Silva, but I'm pretty sure Claudio Silva was pretty old at that time. 38 years old.
Yeah.
So, and watching that fight back, he looked like he was old. He looked like he was kind of not in great shape. He didn't look good. Brahimaj, that was an impressive win. I will agree with that one. I don't know. Brahimaj, he's known for pretty much being like that round 1 sub or best kind of guy. So it wasn't surprising, I guess, for him to lose in that fight and in the way that he lost. Like, it wasn't surprising. Court McGee is literally like this guy's kryptonite. Like, you have this guy, that's your kryptonite. That's his kryptonite because he's going to prevent those early takedowns, especially when they're dry. It's and fresh and breathing well. Normally you would think like, when they're dry, you're going to get the submissions. But when you're somebody who has good takedown defense and good submission defense, when you're dry and you're fresh, like, it's also easy to stay out of that stuff because it's easier to hold on to people. It's easier to push elbows, fight hands, things like that. But main reason why I'm on Wells is I think that he has there's fighters who have power and there's fighters who have like that power that stiffen your body up, make you just go out cold. And there's not many guys who have that power, and Jeremiah Wells does. And I know Court McGee hasn't been knocked out in a long time, but if it's going to happen, I mean, there's not too many guys that Court McGee is going to fight anytime soon, and Jeremiah Wells has the power to do it. He's done it a couple times. He's completely slept Worley Alves. It was cold, just jumped on him, slept him, and then he beat Blood Diamond by sub. That was Blood Diamond. I mean, he is what it is. I don't know if he's talented. We didn't really get to see anything, but I think if anything, that just showcased kind of his fight IQ. Just that he's like, look, this guy's a striker or known to be a striker. Let me take him down. Let me hold him down. Let me grapple with him. Let me choke him out. Let me get him out of here quick. And he did just that. And then Willie Alves, he didn't really want to grapple with him. He stayed on the feet. He struck with him, and he finished him. And so I think with Court McGee, he's going to be able to do anything. He's going to be able to go anywhere. He has BJJ black belt. I just think he's more dangerous in this fight. And if we're going to talk about a fight's pretty even, I'll take the more dangerous guy. Even if Court McGee does have more gas, I think Wells can bank the first 2 rounds. I think he'll have the more damaging shots. So I'm going to go Wells here. I got him at plus 105. He's like plus 100 right now in some places. I think it's a toss-up. It's a pick 'em for a reason. I'm just taking the guy with the power.
I think the one thing that might be a big factor in how this fight plays out and if this goes to decision, who wins the decision, I think it's going to be the strength and cardio of McGee. I think if he is a stronger man and he can grab him when he gets in those sketchy, striking exchanges, he might be able to win some more minutes. But if he's not physically strong enough to like hold him off of it or like keep him like clinched to him, I think that Wells should probably finish him.
Yeah, well, I definitely see what you mean, and I think that's true.
Kind of got to see how they face up to each other on Friday.
Yeah. At the same time, I also think, I don't know. I think Wells. I don't know. I just think it's close, and I think Wells. I think Wells has that power advantage.
The dog money too.
Yeah, slight dog money, and I think he's just more dangerous. And I think when you're talking about these guys are so close, We're talking about one guy has more cardio, one guy's more dangerous. Who's gonna have the more impactful moments? I think Wells can bank, like I said, 2 out of 3 of those rounds if it goes to decision, just on alone. Maybe he lands, he's outstruck each round, but each round he has 3 or 4 just crazy bombs, and he's grappling. They're solid. Like, I think he'll win, but it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be one of the better fights, and I think this one also has fight of the night potential written all over it if it does go a full 3 rounds, because I think they'll be throwing, and I think Court McGee will force Wells to throw because he does like to pressure. So I'm on Wells, you're on McGee. I think this is our 2 fights back-to-back that we've going against each other. So last fight on the prelim. I was going to say second to last, but last fight on the prelim, we got Adrian Yanez against Tony Kelly. Okay, this one right here is very interesting. I think with the popularity of like social media and Twitter and things like that, we're really starting to see MMA Twitter, if you will, fall in love with certain fighters. And I think Adrian Yanez is one of those guys. I think we see that the fans love him, Twitter loves him. And it's his fighting style. He's fun. He's exciting. He's fun to watch. He has great hands, good power, good kicks. He's 28 years old. In this fight, he's definitely going to have the youth advantage. He's going to be smaller, though. He will be shorter. So I don't think that really makes too much of a difference, but we do have to factor that in. The fight is going to be in Texas. I think a lot of people are making a big fuss about the judges. However, every week people make a fuss about the judges, so I don't really know how much of a difference it's going to make, whether it's in Texas or whether it's in California, Vegas, Washington, wherever the hell it is. People are not going to like the judging. As long as people are betting, people aren't going to like the judging, I think. Anywho, this fight's interesting. I don't know. Yanez is minus 310 on the book that I'm looking at right now. And I don't know if minus 310 is justifiable. I think he's fun. He's what?
Minus 335 on Bovada.
Okay, yeah, so he's rising. This is on. I'm just looking at Bet Online right now. On Bet Online, he's minus 310. So, but I think Bovada has even more juiced lines because I think it's used even more widely. So I would say that's even more of an accurate depiction of what the market is doing. This says minus 360, so that's just high. I think he's a fun fighter. He's an exciting fighter. He knocks people out. But he hasn't really fought anybody extremely durable, if I'm going to be honest. Randy Costa, we've seen Randy Costa wilt. Gustavo Lopez, tough guy, I guess. So I'll take that back, but he wilted. Davey Grant, I think that was the first time he's fought someone who's like, a real tough, durable guy who really likes to stand there and bang. And we saw it went to a decision. And I think it's kind of similar with Tony Kelly. His losses, I don't think, his 2 losses are just splits. Other than that, he has wins. He's a very, very, very forward pressure fighter. Yanez starts out slow. I think Tony Kelly can bank round 1 for sure. It's just a matter of if he can keep that pressure going 3 rounds, I think Yanez is in trouble. But at the same time, Yanez is a really good counterpuncher. And if Kelly's going to keep coming forward, I think he has potential to get touched up and kind of get rocked. But I don't think he's getting knocked out. I think this fight will go the distance. The over 2.5 is set at minus 120. So the books are slightly leaning that it's going to probably go the distance. But it's close. I don't have a bet on this fight. If I was going to bet it, and I'm kind of thinking about betting it, I really am, is I'm thinking about betting Tony Kelly by decision. I think that Tony Kelly by points, the lines aren't even out yet because I think that is just going to be oh no, it is out. Plus 550. Tony Kelly by points, plus 550. And I honestly think that is not a bad play because I believe it's going to go to the decision. And if we can't even get a split in there and we're sitting there waiting for that last judge, we're holding the underdog ticket. Even if we lose, damn, it sucks, you know? But if you have Yanez and Yanez loses and you're holding that ticket, you're like, holy fuck, like what just happened? And so I don't know. I think I gotta go Tony Kelly here. I mean, Tony Kelly, even if you just take the money line, plus 260, but I think take the points. I don't think he's knocking out Yanez. I don't see Yanez getting knocked out. I mean, he was taking Davy Grant shots, and Davy Grant hits like a fucking truck. So if you're if you can sustain Davy Grant shots, like, all right, you got granite chin, bud. Like, I'll give you that much. So, I mean, he was getting touched up by Randy Costa. So, what do you think?
Yeah, there's no way you could lay minus 360 on Adrian Yanez right now against Tony Kelly. Tony Kelly's not been knocked out. He's proven he's a tough fighter. And he looked way, way, way better against Randy Costa than Adrian Yanez.
He did.
Don't look at that. That's MMA math, but you don't want to trust that. But I don't see. I feel like I have to put a bet on Tony Kelly after that last bet because I was on Randy Costa when he was fighting him. I was like, Randy Costa should be able to, win at least the first 2 rounds, right? He just crumbled. He crumbled. So I'm probably not betting Randy Costa anytime soon, but, Tony Kelly, he might deserve a bet this week, especially because.
Yeah. I want to go watch that Kai Kamaka fight back. I
remember that fight. That was like one of the best fights of that year. I remember it's like one of the highest rated fights of that year, like top 50 MMA fight.
Yeah, I don't know. It's close. I think if you're betting that you have to bet Tony Kelly, but I know nobody wants to hear that. Anybody who's watching this is gonna be like, oh yeah, right. I'm not betting Tony Kelly. But I think if you are trying to be a good bettor and you want to make money long term, lane minus 360, lane minus 300 on Adrian Yanez.
Yeah, I'd
Tony
him at minus 180 or to minus 200, not minus 300. That's just too juiced.
Yeah, I mean, I'd cap this fight. I don't know, minus 200, minus 225. Okay, like we can get funky with that, but like I gotta lay $360 to win $100, like on Adrian Yanez, I can't do it. Like that's just can't do that one. All right, next fight. I guess just to come to a conclusion, I think Yanez probably will win. I think he's better.
He should win 2 rounds.
Yeah, I think he's better, but I don't know. I mean, I think Tony Kelly, if he pressures him and he's able to withstand some shots and he's able to maybe even make Yanez miss a little bit. I don't know, but Yanez is a really accurate striker or puncher. So
one last thing I want to add to that is that Yanez has got like 100% takedown defense in the UFC.
Yeah, I don't know if Tony Kelly's is going to be looking for that, but that is a good point.
I think he's trying to take down Randy last time, and the guy had probably better striking. So yeah, I would I'd be surprised if he would for like a grappling heavy approach, but I think that Inez has proven that he's pretty good at not getting taken down.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think if he wants to mix in the wrestling and the grappling, I think that's a good idea, but I don't think that. Yeah, I think this fight just going to decision is probably the move because I don't see either one of them getting knocked out. They're both tough motherfuckers.
Even odds. It's like a pick 'em like minus 115.
Yeah, it is. So I think that's pretty good. All right. So we got Julian Marquez against Gregory Rodriguez at the Cuban Missile Crisis versus the RoboCop. Love it. Two good nicknames against each other. So we got Julian Marquez. He's coming in 2 years older. He's going to be an inch shorter and a 4-inch reach disadvantage. This is an interesting fight. I think that this is going to be a brawl. I think that we're going to see these guys probably stand and bang for 15 minutes or until somebody falls. I believe Rodriguez will shoot a couple takedowns. I think he will try to get it to the ground. But he has to be careful because Marquez has a rear naked choke on his record. This was more, though. He basically put Sam Alvey's lights out and then choked him out after. Maki Pitolo, same thing. He had him real tired, got him on the ground, choked him out. The Darren Stewart fight, Darren Stewart went in for a shot, guillotined him. Phil Haas head kicked him. So he has some finishes. He's a killer when it comes to the octagon. But don't be mistaken. This Maki Pitolo fight, granted, it was a over 2 year layoff. He was literally pretty much getting whooped on for 14 minutes and about 10 seconds. So I want to say the last 50 seconds of the fight, he hurt Pitolo, got on top of him, and choked him out with about 20 seconds left in the fight. So it was a major comeback, showed a lot of heart, but he was losing. That's something to remember. And then Sam Alvey, he was pretty much whooping Sam Alvey's ass. So there is that. And that was Sam Alvey a year ago. So granted, Sam Alvey's pretty washed now. He was washed then, but catch my drift. It's not super duper duper washed Sam Alvey. It's just semi-washed Sam Alvey. I don't know. I have a bet on this. I have Julian Marquez basically inside the distance, and then if it hits the scorecards, it's just a push. I'll get my money back. I don't think he's getting finished. If you watch any of his fights, this dude gets rocked. He gets tired, but he does not quit. The only thing that I want to see, and I have not seen on here, is he's been training with James Krause the past couple camps. I don't know if he's training with James Krause again in this camp. And not that I think like James Krause is this like amazing coach or whatever, but I just think having that stability and working with the same coaches is a good idea. But I'm leaning Marquez in this fight, actually, just overall. I think if you want to take the money line, I would lean Marquez. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I got a tough read on this fight. I think that my best look right now is this fight going the distance, which might sound crazy to some people, but I think it either happens that it's a really close decision with one of these guys ends up winning, maybe a split or an actual, 29-28, or I think Julian Marquez knocks this man out cold. So I think I'm going to put a unit on Julian Marquez, but I am not 100% sold. I'll probably wait till Friday to make that bet.
Yeah,
I might lay plus 150 on it going to the decision though, because that's pretty juicy if you ask me.
is that what it's at right now? Plus 150 to go to decision.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say yeah, that's nice. I can't disagree with that. All right. I might take a stab at that as well.
Yeah, I just put a unit on that.
Yeah. All right. So we got Damir Ismagulov against Guram Kutateladze.
That was a good pronunciation right there.
Right. That was good. I watched this fight and I listened to them say it like 3 times, and Paul Felder was killing it. So I think it was Paul Felder. It might have been Dom Cruz. I don't remember, one of the two. Anyways, all right. So we got Damir Ismagulov and Guram Kutateladze. Pretty much same age. Damir's about a year older, actually, so not the same age. He's longer. He's going to be a bit shorter. That is Damir. Demir's going to have the grappling advantage. I think Demir's going to have the striking advantage when it comes to like speed, when it comes to skill, when it comes to technique. Although Guram is I don't know if he's like a world champ kickboxer, but he does from a kickboxing background. He's very technical. He's very slick with his striking. He's just not very active. He literally 1 year, 6 months ago, 2 years, 6 months ago, 3 years, 6 months ago. So then he fought quick back-to-back there, and then 4 years ago. So he's really fighting like once a year the past couple fights. When you look at him, he's like super yoked, like super duper yoked. And like he almost looks like sucked in and dehydrated. His veins are all popping out. I don't know. It doesn't look healthy, but he makes weight. He does it. I think my biggest question mark in this fight is, does Damir come in on weight? Does Damir look good on the scale? Is he not hurting? I think if he's not hurting, he's fine. I have a bet on this fight already. Damn, that sounded crazy. I should probably have waited till he looked on the scale, but I don't know. I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to wait for the line to get out of hand and get crazy. I got Damir at one. I don't even know what I got him at. Let's see. Actually, the line is dropping, so I got him too soon. I got him in 162. The line is at like 140, 150 something right now I'm looking at. So I honestly got it too soon, but I just wanted to lock it in and not really worry about it. So I got Damir money line, 2 units at 162, and then I got 1 unit Damir by decision plus 125. I don't know. I think he's going to win. I just think he's better everywhere. I think Guram is powerful. I think he does have the power for sure. But I think if your only advantage in a fight is power, I don't think that you have a great chance in the fight unless we're like in the heavyweight division, you know? Like these guys are 155ers. Like if power's the one thing you're banking on and you're fighting someone as good as Damir, who's never been knocked out, who even when he gets hurt goes right to the grappling, and his grappling is good. I just don't see him winning. I know people like Guram. I think people like him because he beat Gamrot. I don't think he beat Gamrot. If you watch that fight back, Guram won round 1. Definitely didn't win round 2 or 3, but that's just what I think. I think Damir's going to win this fight pretty convincingly, honestly. I think he's going to probably win a unanimous. Like it might be 29-28, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just wins a unanimous 30-27. What do you think?
Yeah. I pretty much echo the same thing. I think it really comes down to, is Damir going to be healthy on the scale, and if so, I'm looking at all. I watched like the Alves fight, and he's just a step ahead, man. He really is. He's outstriking all the guys he's fought in the UFC so far by at least 24 strikes, and he can get takedowns if he wants. If he feels threatened at all, he can get a takedown and reset, attack, submission. You know what I mean? He's I think he's just a really overall talented fighter. I haven't seen enough of Guram at this level for me to think that he beats him at more than what the odds suggest. I don't know, but I don't think he beats him. More than 25 times out of 100 probably if Demir's on top of his game. So I'm gonna probably have Demir in a parlay, but outside of that, maybe take him by points if it's close to minus 100. But outside of that,
No, yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Right now, I mean, the implied probability has Demir at let me see, I'll get 60%. And I honestly think he probably wins this fight at a higher clip.
Yeah.
You have to say 70, 75. So I'm definitely on the Demir side here. I just think he's more talented. I think people are kind of hyped off the I think it's two things. I think people are hyped off Guram beating Gamrot, and I think people are low on Demir because of the last time he stepped on the scale. That dude looked like a walking zombie.
Yeah.
So, and I can't blame people, but I'm going to take advantage of it because at the end of the day, if this fight would have taken place a year ago, right here, every other fight, this man is minus 200. And I think, sure, books are giving respect, but I think it's a little too much. All right, we'll go on to this next fight. We got Joaquin Buckley against Albert Duraev. So Buckley is going to have the age advantage. He's going to be 5 years younger. He's going to be smaller. He's going to have a longer reach, though. Buckley's a little muscular tank. He's built. He's strong. He has power. He has that infamous spinning kick KO. Real good, honestly. He's pretty technical. I wouldn't say pretty technical, but he's a technical striker. He's definitely getting better. And Duraev is your standard Russian wrestler. He wants to grapple. However, I will caveat that with, if you watch the Roman Kopylov fight, he wants to strike a ton. He wants to strike a lot. And I'm pretty sure he broke his orbital bone in that fight. And
something broke, yeah.
If I'm not, something broke, and I don't know if a face bone can heal in 6 months. I mean, obviously doctors cleared him and obviously it healed, but sounds a little sketch if you ask me. I don't really know. I don't know. This is quite literally the hardest fight for me to cap on the whole card. I mean, I think if Duraev is going to pick the Roman Kopylov route and strike, he might go night-night. If you look at his 3 losses, they're all by KO.
Duraev's?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're all by KO, if I'm not mistaken. If you want to check that for me. And then
Yep. I'm confirming that.
And if you look at Buckley, I mean, I don't know. He is strong. And I think the way to beat Buckley is not to strike with him. It's going to be to wrestle. It's going to be to put him on his ass. It's going to be to put him on his back and be like, yo, get up, man. Can you get up? Yes or no? And so, I mean, you look at his fights, everything strikes, everything's kicks, punches, hooks, whatnot. His last fight was the first time we've ever seen grappling implemented into his game. He did have 5 takedowns. I watched that fight earlier today. He had 3 takedowns in the first round. He had a beautiful, perfectly timed double leg takedown. And then Abdul Razak Al Hassan got up, took him back down. Then they had another good takedown in the first round. They got a couple more. They got 2 in the second. I think I say that all to say I don't necessarily think he's going to be able to take down Duraev. He might try. I don't know if that's smart. I think Duraev is going to be better on the ground. He's been doing this his whole life. He's also 33. He has a little bit more experience just all around, and probably wrestling. Maybe not mixed martial arts, but just wrestling. And so if it gets down there, it might be tough. I don't know. I kind of lean Buckley after further thought. I don't know. I think if I was going to do this, I would attack it via props. I would do Buckley maybe inside the distance or by KO, and Duraev by points. I don't think Buckley's going to get finished. While there's always a possibility, this is mixed martial arts. I think Duraev by points plus 250, solid. And I think Buckley plus 275, KO, or Buckley inside the distance at plus 250. I think that's good too. I do find it interesting that Albert Duraev is plus 125 inside the distance. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the books see there. What do you think about this one before I ask you about the fight? What do you think about this bet? The win inside the distance, go distance equals no action. Joaquin Buckley plus 160.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think that it's really, this fight's probably going to come down to, is Albert Duraev going to want to try and wrestle him the whole time? Because I don't think he'll probably survive on the feet. I think Joaquin Buckley just hits a little bit too hard. And Roman Kopylov, he's no scrub, don't get me wrong, but
No,
I don't think that he's like that impressive a win. And I remember watching, I had a bet on Duraev, and I was kind of nervous at some points because he was getting beat up in certain situations. And Joaquin Buckley, I think that he kind of just fucked up in that Alicio Di Chicharito fight or whatever. And he kind of just thought he was going to knock this guy out in the 3-loss streak really easily, get a free big check, and call it a day. And I think ever since then, he's kind of started to focus more on becoming more of a more well-rounded mixed martial artist. And I think that we might be able to see that on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't disagree there. You look at...
And the striking of Albert Duraev, I don't think he can finish Joaquin on the feet, but if these are the props currently for Albert, plus 250 by decision, KO plus 300, and then submission plus 300, and he's a minus 220 favorite. So I don't even think the bookies are really sure how he's going to win.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my point is what you just said is, so Duraev by points plus 250, right?
Yeah.
So and then KO like 300,
and sub is 300.
Sub is 300. So they're saying that it's more likely that he gets a decision win over a finish. Yeah. However, when you're looking at like the fight inside the distance, it's like plus 125 for him to win inside the distance. So you would I don't know. I just think it's weird that you would think that either the KO or the sub line would be a little bit lower than plus 300 if they're thinking.
For example, Joaquin Buckley by points is plus 550, and Joaquin Buckley by KO is plus 275, and Joaquin Buckley by submission is plus 2500.
Yeah, by sub, I mean, like, I don't think it happens, but like, like sprinkle maybe. Like, I'm not gonna, but
yeah, I mean,
plus 2500 though, like
that's ridiculous. All he's got to do is hurt him and then hop on his neck. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
That happen a million times.
Yep, exactly. All right, so we're both on Buckley's side here. I think that this is definitely Duraev's toughest competition to date. However, Duraev does have a loss against Ramazan Ameev, so that was way back in the day. It got knocked out by Ameev.
Oh my God! All
right. So we are on to third to last fight of the night. We are right on over an hour. Hopefully we can keep this under about an hour 45. About an hour 45 would be good. We got 14 fights, so it's a long card. All right, so we're on to Kevin Holland against Tim Means. So Tim Means, he's a vet. He's 38 years old, 6'2", 75-inch reach. We got Kevin Holland, 29. He's going to be the younger fighter for sure, obviously. 9 years, an inch taller. He's what? That is 6, 7, 8-inch reach advantage. 8-inch reach advantage. Tim Means he's solid. Like, I watched a couple of his fights back. Watched the Nicholas Dalby fight. Pretty much put it on him for most of that fight. Watched the Mike Perry fight.
Put it on him.
Pretty much put it on him again. He did lose round 1, but he won the last 2 rounds. He pretty much put it on Star Pulley, but Star Pulley's subpar. Then he was beating Daniel Rodriguez, stuck his neck out, got caught.
Yeah,
Thiago Alves. I don't know. I think this fight, Means has wrestling capability. I think that he has solid clinch and grappling capability. But I think that there's 2 things that are on Kevin Holland's side in this fight. And I'll say 2. And one of them is kind of twofold. One is when Tim Means starts getting touched up, he likes to brawl. He's one of those guys that gets hit and starts like, oh, I'm hitting you back. He's not like it's hard for him to stay like under control. And then you have Kevin Holland, who has a ton of power. You have Kevin Holland, who will 100% punch you in the face and then tell you about it afterwards. And so I think that while Tim Means will come into this fight and say, I need to grapple, this is what I need to do to win the fight, I think that is going to be his downfall is going to be the fact that he's going to come out here and start banging, because Kevin Holland's going to start banging. And I was just looking at his record to see how many KO losses he has. And he doesn't have that many KO losses, but he does. A lot of his losses are by finish. I would say about half of his losses are by finish. Kevin Holland is a purple belt BJJ. I don't think he's black, but purple, still good. I think this fight's going to end in a KO. I think it's going to end in a Kevin Holland KO. I'm probably thinking second round KO, because I think Tim Means will definitely implement, or will try to implement, that grappling. And I think if he doesn't get Kevin Holland down in the first round with his first attempt or 2, I think he's probably going to sleep in the round 1. Because at 170, 81-inch reach, Kevin Holland is knocking motherfuckers out. Yeah. And last thing I'll say on this fight, Kevin Holland is box office when it comes to selling tickets in that aspect of the UFC. And that first, he was winning a lot, and then they were kind of forced to give him tougher competition. And he took the Derek Brunson fight, and then he took the short notice Marvin Vettori fight. So those 2, I think we all realized, okay, he's not who he is. And then he took the Kyle Dawkins fight, got headbutted, scratched that. And then the UFC gives him old-ass Alex Oliveira. And now what is the UFC doing this time? Giving him old-ass Tim Means. Why?
Build him back up.
Exactly. I think they want to build Kevin Holland back up. And I think they want to build him back up by doing what he was doing when he got built up the first time. And that was knocking fools out with just 1, 2, just those hooks. Yeah. So I think Kevin Holland by knockout. Round 2 knockout. I might even sprinkle a little bit on that round 2 knockout.
Yeah. I think that he should win inside the distance for sure. Tim Means is the dirty bird for a reason, though. But I love me some Big Mouth.
Yeah.
Even though he's the best wrestler. Him inside the distance, plus 115, not bad. But like you said, I do like that round 2. Plus 750, just sub or KO finish in round 2.
Because I think this fight could play out very similar to the Alex Oliveira fight. I think Alex Oliveira I think Tim Means can come out and do his game plan, and then
he's going to try and wrestle in the first round. I think he might realize it's not going to be as easy as he thought it would be, and then he's going to get maybe tagged up a time or two, and then he's going to be like, "Fuck it, I'm going to swing and knock this motherfucker out," and then he's going to get caught.
Exactly, and they're both kind of karate style, and so I just think it's going to open up a lot of things. I think Kevin Holland is just a little more outmatched. I think the age is going to be a huge difference. I think the size. I mean, just look at the reach advantage. Like Tim Means, just even getting into Kevin Holland. I will say Kevin Holland does have an issue with his very bad distance management. He's very bad at keeping range, and you would think that someone 6'3", 81-inch reach would be able to keep range, but I don't know what he hasn't figured that one out yet. So yeah, I'm not sure, but we'll leave it at that.
We don't like to invest too much on Kevin Holland anymore. We used to do more.
Yeah, exactly. We used to, especially at -2. I mean, he's definitely. I think honestly, you could probably. I think he's a parlay piece, but it's just so fucking greasy with him because if he gets taken down, you're gonna be sitting there like this, just like
Bobby's yelling at Khabib.
Yeah, you're just gonna be yelling at the screen like get up, get up, get up. But it's like any moment he can just sleep him, and so it's just one of those things where it's like you just have to like bet it and just trust the process. But it's so hard watching Kevin Holland because we've seen him fight Vettori and Brunson and accept bottom position, but we also have to remember that's Vettori and Brunson. That's not.
They were just so much stronger than him because they're cutting a lot of weight, and Kevin Holland doesn't.
Exactly.
Now he cuts weight, but
exactly. All right.
Fight of the night, right here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, low key might have fight of the night on it.
I'm not joking, man.
So we're gonna break down the co-main event now, boys and girls. We've got 2 more fights to go. We got Donald Cerrone, got Joe Lozon. This fight is I mean, from a fan perspective, sure, it's fun. We got 2 UFC legends, 2 mixed martial arts legends, not just UFC, not just what's the WEC or WBC. I'm blanking right now, but
WBC,
yeah, the conference or the league before UFC. So just measurables, age. I mean, they're both old geezers, 39, 38. Lozon's they both have fought down at 155 up to 170. So this is nothing new. This fight's actually going to be at 155, which I did find a bit interesting since Cowboy just had like crazy food poisoning a couple weeks back. I thought maybe they were just going to have it at 170 so he didn't have to cut weight and do that whole shit all over again. But hey, they're not. It's back at 155. So I don't know. I'm picking the dog in this fight. This is a dog or pass for me. I can't, like, you're losing to Alex Morono. Like, I can't do it, dog. Like, Alex Morono is, I just can't stand. Like, I just can't. I don't know. I can't do it. And granted, like, look at these guys. He's losing to good people, but I think that Justin Gaethje really, really hurt him. And then Conor McGregor took his soul. And then Anthony Pettis just put him in the grave. And then you get a majority decision against Nico Price. That's just disappointing. And then you get a standing KO against Alex Morono. Oh my God. That's just horrific. And he's right now minus 170. Like, you guys have got to be kidding me. Like, granted, I will say this man has not fought very much. He has not been active. He's lost to Clay Guida, not pretty. He's lost to Chris Gruesemunker, not pretty. but he somehow, some way beat JSP. Not too sure. If we get this Joe Lozon, he's starching Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone's might as well pack up his bags and go retire. However, that was over 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, and I don't know if we're going to see that guy again. I just don't know. He's been coaching. I'm pretty sure he has his own gym. Yeah, the Lozon Mixed Martial Arts. He coaches. He does all that. So he's staying active. He's in the fight game. He knows the way the game is changing. I'm rocking Dogger Pass. This is really just more of a two old guys going at it, and I don't see how I'm going to lay 170 on Donald Cerrone. That money line is just too high. This should be a pick'em. This should be minus 110, minus 110, minus 115, minus 105, like whatever. Like I don't think this should be minus 170 plus 140. Like that's insane. I'd probably Joe Lozon inside the distance. That's probably how I would do. Fight doesn't go the distance, under 2.5. Like literally smash every single under possible. But this could end up being like a Glover Jiri thing where these guys are just remarkably durable all of a sudden and survive. I don't know. I mean, Jiri's not remarkably durable, but I just meant not getting finished. Somehow there's not a finish in that fight, but yeah, I don't know.
I think it's Dogger Pass. Yeah, Dogger Pass for sure. Nobody in their right mind can lay actual money on Donald Cerrone right now. I don't think. Like, look,
I hope not. I hope not.
Just bad. Joe Lozon, he's old too. But I think he's gonna come at him. He's gonna go hard. I think he'll probably. I think the weight cut will probably be a little easier for him.
Yeah.
He's a little bit smaller to begin with, and he's only really fought at 155. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too.
Donald Cerrone's looked terrible at 170. I can't imagine how he's going to look on the scale at 155. I actually don't know if he's going to make it to the scale. I currently have a bet of Joe Lozon in round 1 or 2 at plus 365, but I got this kind of weird, eerie feeling that he might just end up winning a decision. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at Cerrone's record, just to make you feel a little better, he hasn't been to a decision.
Oh my God.
In years. So, I mean,
2020, Pettis.
I guess not that long. 2020 is not too long against Pettis.
Pettis doesn't look that great either, though.
But then if you look before Pettis against Al La Quinta 2019, I mean, he's rarely getting decisions.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm leaning Lozon here.
I gotta have a bet on this fight. I feel like it's gonna be a fun fight to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be.
So I'm gonna show.
That's
It's like you.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a bet, but I'm probably gonna bet on this one or bet on that one for sure. All right, we have made it this far. We have made it to the main event, not the co-main, but the main events. So we have Calvin Kattar against Josh Emmett. This should be a banger. I think this should be better than Calvin Kattar against Giga Chikadze. And I think it should be better than Danny Ige against Josh Emmett. Against their last two opponents. Those are two good fights, but I think this one will be better. I think this one is my number one choice for fight of the night, especially because it's probably going to go 5 rounds. So we look at those measurables. Look at Calvin Kattar. He is going to have a 5-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage and a 3-year age advantage there as well. I don't know. Josh Emmett, he's a wrestler. He has a wrestling background. Team Alpha Male, that's what they do. They're wrestlers. But Josh Emmett's the kind of guy similar to kind of how we were talking about Albert Duraev, who wrestles, but you fall in love with your striking, You feel what it feels like to crack somebody, and you fall in love with that. And Josh Emmett has power. Josh Emmett has vicious power. I don't know if you saw the knockout against Michael Johnson.
Yeah, I watched that one.
Stiffed him, just nasty. This one just jabbed Bektik, dropped him. Shane Burgos beat Dan Ige. So he's a stud. I just think that Calvin Kattar, like there's levels in UFC and mixed martial arts, I think is when it comes to sports you really, really, really can see where there's levels. I'd say this, like track and field and swimming, those are random sports to add, but where you really see levels of like how good of an athlete, how good of a fighter, how technical someone is. And I think we saw that with Calvin Kattar and Giga Chikadze. I think people saw Giga and were like, oh, wow, this guy's so good, blah, 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 blah. And he gets in with Calvin Kattar, and then there's like, whoa, we forgot how good Calvin Kattar is because he fought somebody who's really, really good in Max Holloway. And there's like really levels to it. And I think that really shows that there's levels. And I think this fight again is going to show the same thing. I think Calvin Kattar is going to have the better boxing. He has better boxing. He has crisper boxing. He has a granite chin. I mean, Max Holloway doesn't hit extremely hard, but the amount of strikes he took, anybody else is getting dropped or anybody else is looking like it's hurting way more to the point where the ref is just stopping the fight. You know what I mean? Like it's going to get stopped. He just kept on coming. It's tough is just tough. He beat Dan Ige, beat Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens is tough. Like that's a tough fighter. And then he lost to Zabib. I'm not even going to attempt that name because that's a
Zabit Magomed-Sharipov.
Yeah, that's a tough name.
The guy that retired pretty much it. I don't think he hasn't fought in like 3 or 4 years. He's one of the best.
Exactly. And so Zabit's one of the best fighters in the world at that time. So I think what we're looking at here is I don't want to say he's like Robert Whittaker, if you will, but I think he's kind of like a Robert Whittaker of this featherweight division. I think that he's not good enough to beat Volk. He's not good enough to beat Holloway. But he's good enough to beat everybody else. And I think that's kind of how Whittaker is in the middleweight division. He can't beat Izzy, but he can beat everybody else. And I think this guy he can't beat the top 2 guys, but he can beat everybody else. And so I think this is just kind of going to be an everybody else situation. I think, honestly, pairing Calvin Kattar money line and Kyle Dawkins money line, if you can, maybe parlay those two together and just, I don't know what that looks like, but if I was to parlay them, bet.
That parlay is plus
like
101.
Yeah, plus 101. So that's really not that bad. I mean, if you really like both those guys, you want plus money, throw maybe a unit on it, just kind of get a unit back, just something chill, but I like that right there. That parlay. I think that's really, really all that I like in that aspect. What do you think about this fight?
Yeah, I think Calvin Kattar is definitely going to win this fight. I think he's more technical up top standing. I think he's not hard to keep down. I mean, I think he is hard to keep down. I don't think it's going to be able to wrestle him for win 3 rounds off of wrestling. I honestly kind of think Calvin Kattar might finish him. He's kind of old up there. He's going to be vastly, the reach is going to be a big difference in the fight. And, we both hit Calvin Kattar when he was going to fight Giga. It's like, how can you justify him being the underdog in Giga right now?
You couldn't.
Yeah.
The argument that everybody was saying was he took a beating from Max Holloway. But he took a beating from Max Holloway 365 days ago. It's not like he took a beating 2 months ago, and I never understood that argument.
So yeah, I think this is Calvin Cater all day long. I am definitely gonna parlay him. I actually just put a couple units on him and Kyle Dawkins, so that's my input on that.
Yeah,
But it's kind of hard to
much.
get straight up. I mean, what's him inside the distance? Let me look. Him by KO is only plus 190. Him by points is plus 129. So
Yeah, so I think
just
I'm just rocking the money line. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna parlay these two guys together right now. I'm just gonna put one unit on it.
it's a lot of favorites on this card. Or big
Yeah.
favorites or higher. You know, I was gonna add Cody Stamen to it too, but I only really added like plus 30. I'm like, I'm not even gonna worth it.
No, I think to finish off this what we think about this card, from a betting perspective, we'll just kind of go through each fight real quick, just wrap up our choices and what we think if we're gonna bet or if we have a bet. Just gonna run through this real fast. So to start out, Phil Haas, Deron Win. I think Haas is gonna win. I'm going to put a bet on Haas inside the distance, probably. I'll probably do Haas inside the distance. Most likely, I don't know if I want to do Haas KO or inside the distance. I'll see, and then I might just do fight doesn't go the distance. I think he's going to be a little too much for win. I'm not going to invest too much into it, but I'm probably might break up one unit, just break up a unit and just kind of sprinkle it into different parts. Haas by KO, Haas inside the distance, fight doesn't go the distance type thing.
Yeah,
kind of like that. Do you have any thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, I don't have anything currently on it. I might get there. I think honestly, Haas by decision might be the play at the end of this, but that's just because I think Deron Wynn's got like an iron head or whatever, giant ass head.
All right, Kyle Dawkins, Roman Delise. I think we both wrote Kyle Dawkins by decision. You said potentially sub third round. I don't hate that. I think sprinkling maybe sub third round is definitely worth it. I don't see why not. I don't know what the odds are on that at the moment, but I think that's not a bad idea. Yeah, they're not even out. But round 3 Dawkins is plus 800, so I'm assuming it'd be about plus 1,200 or so, which is not bad. Maybe plus 1,000. All right, Cody Stamen, Eddie Wineland. I'm on Stamen, I guess. Stamen by decision, maybe inside the distance. I don't know. I'm not going to bet on this fight. I don't really like it.
Yeah, I'm not betting on this fight either.
All right, Danny Chavez, Ricardo Ramos. I'm on Ramos, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to bet this fight either. I think Chavez is a tough customer, and I think he can make it ugly. I'm not on that one.
Yeah, I think Danny Chavez definitely has a puncher's chance. I have no bet on it. But if you do like Danny Chavez, I'd do it by inside the distance.
Yeah, it's not bad inside the distance for Chavez. All right, Gloria DePaula, Maria Oliveira. This fight, I'm honestly probably staying away from, but it's dog or pass for me. There's no way that Gloria DePaula should be minus 260, minus 250, whatever that. She shouldn't be minus 200. She should be more like minus 150. Minus 150 max, probably, I would say. So I think Maria Oliveira, I honestly might throw like a quarter unit on her, maybe half a unit on her, and just kind of see what happens with my money. I might win it. I might look stupid. I might look good. I don't know, but the odds are way too wide. What do you think?
Yeah, if I have a unit on Maria Oliveira, no, wait, I have nothing on this fight. I don't want any part of that fight. I have a unit bet on Natalie Silva in the next fight after that.
All right, for sure. Yeah, I'm on Jasmine. Jasmine Debicki is here. I think she'll probably grind out a decision, but I cannot talk you off of the Natalia Silva competition. She's more dangerous. I don't. Wide odds. I don't hate it for it. Jeremiah Wells, Court McGee. I'm on Wells. I have a unit on the money line, plus 105. I believe. What did you say for this fight?
I got Court McGee and kind of a Lambo parlay that I'll mention at the end.
For sure. All right. And then we got Yanez Kelly. I think I'm going to make a bet on Kelly. I don't know if I'll get to it today. I might wait for Yanez to keep getting juiced up. I don't know. People might come to their senses and it might drop, but I don't know. I think it's going to go to Kelly. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Kelly. I might make a bet during the day of. Especially if maybe this has a kind of a decent round one. You know what I mean? Maybe most people think he wins one round. Maybe you can get Tony Kelly plus 500 or something like that, and he can grind out towards the end.
That's fair. Yeah. All right, Julian Marquez, Gregory Rodriguez. I have a bet Marquez here. Inside the distance. If I go to the scorecards, no action. That's really all I have. I might get around to the money line. I'm not sure. What about you?
Yeah, I might do something similar to what you're doing, but I'm definitely not laying juice on Gregory Rodriguez.
For sure. I agree. Demir and Guram. I'm going Demir here. I just think he's better everywhere. Like you said, he's outstriking everybody. If he needs to get to the grappling, he gets to the grappling. If he doesn't, he can beat you on the feet. It's just, I think he's better everywhere.
Yeah, and I have, for the Adrian Inez and Tony Kelly fight, I have it going to 2 decisions, so I was plus 115.
Okay, not bad.
And then I also have the Gregory Rodriguez fight going to decision. And then for Demir Ismagulov, I have him in a parlay as well.
Okay.
I like him.
All right, we got Buckley and Duraev. I'm leaning Buckley here. Going with the dog. I think if Duraev tries to fight, tries to swing, I think Buckley is going to potentially put him out. If not, I think he can beat him on the feet. I think he would win a decision or by KO. Duraev is going to win this fight. He's going to lay on him and possibly come out with the sub, but I don't think it's going to happen. What do you?
Yeah, I think I might put some on Buckley when it gets to fight day. Do you know how this line's been moving? I feel like it's kind of stayed the same.
Yeah, a lot of these lines, I think they're staying the same because it's so juiced right now that I think people are. I think they're moving in the way of the favorites, but it's minor.
I mean, I'll tell you this much: if Joaquin Buckley gets a plus 200 by the fight time, I am 100% putting a unit on him.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, we got Tim Means, Kevin Holland. I'm going Holland here. I'm going Holland by knockout. Pretty simple.
Yep, I like that. I don't know if I'll put money on it, but I like it.
All right, we got Cerrone against Lozon. I'm going Lozon. Probably Lozon inside the distance. And you?
Yeah, I have Lozon round 1 or 2.
All right, we got Qatar and Emmett. I'm leaning Emmett. I'm probably leaning decision, but
Emmett? Okay.
I'm sorry, Qatar. I was reading Emmett's name. Probably going Qatar inside the distance, but I can see a decision. Yeah. But I think he'll probably finish. I think if he does what he did
5 before too.
If he did what he did to Giga, I think he can finish him.
So yeah, my one Lambo parlay, it's kind of got a handful of all of my favorites I have, and it's a half unit to win about 12. It's Qatar, then Natalia Silva, Demir Ismagulov, Court McGee, Phil Hawes, and Kyle Daukaus.
It's not bad.
So 7-legger.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. I hope if you guys want to tail that, go for it. Tail at your own risk, people. But that is the fight card. That is the breakdown. It was a great conversation. Like and subscribe on the video. And we will catch you all next week for, UFC Vegas 57, I believe.
Yeah. Best of luck to everyone, and they're making their good bets. Hopefully we all hit.
Yep, exactly. Hopefully we all hit. Best of luck. Peace out.